Thanks for coming today. I'm Mary Young, the head of account management at Affiliate Future US, and we're an affiliate marketing network. And my presentation is about the deduplication of sales or leads and how it affects affiliate marketing. This is something I feel particularly passionate about, and I hope to shed some light on. It also may generate some more questions than answers, so please do feel free to come up to me afterwards or to send me any questions that come up over the presentation. And I will have my phone glued to my hip in case you have any urgent questions. So we're in the tropical room. Here's a little tropical picture for us. Imagine this scenario. It's midwinter. You're aching for a sun-filled beach vacation for you and your family, something to look forward to when the kids are off of school. So you have your heart set on Mexico. You go to Google, you type in Mexico resorts for families. You find some sites, you look around, you're directed to some advertisers' sites, and it's just hard to get all the information in one place. But there's a review site that you come across with some great content. It gives a breakdown of each of the resorts and the facilities that they offer, as well as some user reviews. So you find exactly the one that you're looking for, and great, you're ready to go. But you just need to check with your family on their schedules. So about a week later, once all your schedules are sorted, you want to go back to the site and actually make the purchase. Well, chances are you're not necessarily going to type in the URL directly. You're generally going to go to Google or whatever search engine you're using and do a search for that brand ad or on the brand name. You click on that first link and make your purchase and you're all set. But how about the affiliate review site that actually generated that transaction? Is that transaction credited with the sale if you've clicked through on a brand ad, or is the brand ad overwriting the affiliate transaction and therefore getting the credit and you're not getting any commission? This is something that does happen, and I would like to get your feedback on too, and also just highlight as a potential issue. Clearly, this can have major implications for affiliates and the affiliate marketing industry. Transaction deduplication, it's not new. As I'm sure you're aware, if an advertiser is on multiple networks, they generally use some sort of form of local cookie tracking in order to send off the relevant commission to the relevant network and affiliate, of course. But how about when this is used in other channels? If merchants are engaging in multi-channel marketing and they're increasingly deduplicating their affiliate transactions against other channels such as search, for example, to avoid crediting and paying multiple times for the same transaction. So a few examples of channels that could be used in this multi-channel affiliate deduping: search, both paid and natural; display, email, third-party and internal as well, so newsletters from advertisers, and several others, of course. Basically, as you can see, a lot of these traffic channels are also used by affiliates themselves to generate traffic for their own sites, as well as generating traffic directly to the advertiser's site. So in the example I just mentioned, the deduplication policy, it would inherently affect the performance of the review site. And it may be unknown to the review site, which just doesn't seem like good business or ethical or fair. So if the advertiser's performance on the affiliate site isn't up to expectations, let's say they're not performing as well as another competitor on there, the affiliate may decide not to continue developing content for that advertiser, and fairly enough, they're not getting a return on their investment. There's time spent on it. There's also the opportunity cost of sending the traffic to one advertiser over another. So if we take an example of a search affiliate who's in the same situation, who has built a PPC campaign, let's say on generic keywords. If that PPC campaign is, again, if it's being deduped against a brand ad, then chances are they're not going to be getting the conversions that really they should be getting attributed to them. This has implications not only for the affiliate, it also has implications for the advertiser, because of course, if the affiliate stops driving traffic to them, which will inevitably happen, then there are opportunities lost there and real revenue lost as well. So the key problems, there are a few of them. There's a lack of transparency. Which channels are actually being deduped? How can you as an affiliate make an informed decision about the channels that you're using to market your advertisers if you don't know the channels that you're being deduped against? Also, misallocated resources. If we just go back to that brand ad example, that brand ad is looking like an amazing converter. But of course, it may not be. It may be masking really the true generator of that transaction or that sale. And brand ads I'm focusing on because they are such a great converter, and I think that any advertiser in this position has recognized that the brand ad alone, although it may look like a good converter, it doesn't stand alone and it can't stand alone. So data is going to largely drive what becomes best practice in deduplication, but again, it can't stand alone. We actually have to voice our thoughts and our insights on this important topic because it affects our bottom lines, it affects what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We have to secure a seat at the table and ensure that our insights are getting across, and also so we can learn more. So why is this important to you? There are a few reasons why it should be important. It's now becoming more prevalent and a higher priority for advertisers. Also, performance-based marketing so heavily depends on optimization, and you need this key information in order to properly optimize your campaigns. And then lastly, technology is evolving and attribution is becoming more sophisticated. So as it becomes more sophisticated, there are going to be more options and more instances in which advertisers can utilize this technology to the best of their ability. There's also a rise in the de-duping, that's a hard word to say, de-duping prevalence with greater overall marketing spend. So of course, with more budget being allocated to online, this is going to just happen more and more, and it's best to really get the information out there right now and get the conversations going now. Multi-channel diversification, of course, also factors in. Maybe merchants or advertisers that you work with are only using an affiliate channel and another channel to drive the majority of traffic to their sites. But as they get involved with more channels, this may become an issue for them and for you. And with the growth of affiliate marketing as a key channel, which is of course a testament to all of you and our industry, is sharing space with more traditional channels. So let's say you run an email list and you do email blasts. Well, maybe you should be informed of how advertisers deduplicate their sales if they have internal newsletters. If you're doing a blast at the same time as an advertiser does an internal newsletter, are your newsletters going to be overwritten, or is your email list mostly new customers? This is information that you need to know in order to make strategic decisions. And then, of course, the economy has forced merchants to cut spending and boost their return on marketing investment. So whereas before, advertisers may have been okay with paying more than one partner for a sale, that's not necessarily going to continue. Performance marketing, the model is, of course, it's based on performance. So if a program doesn't perform, it's going to affect your bottom line and the advertiser's bottom line. And that, at the end of the day, that affects the income that you take home. So it's something that I feel we should all be passionate about and involved with, because these discussions are happening and they can't happen without us. It also affects all types of affiliates. So if you are one type of affiliate and you say, well, this doesn't apply to me, that's not necessarily true, because depending on how the advertiser chooses to use the technology that's becoming available, or that is available in order to dedupe sales, you may be bundled in with other affiliates, which I actually highly advise advertisers against. Again, you can't make the decisions that you need to make in order to grow a program and your own sites and traffic if you don't have all the information that's required, and if you don't know what you're competing against. It's just a moving target. That goes back to performance, of course. The affiliates aren't going to hang around and send you traffic forever if you're not performing. And even if they don't necessarily take you off of their sites, they're certainly not going to prioritize your program or give you any special placements or give you really the time to develop their program and have the conversations that are needed in order to take that program forward and really achieve the next level. There's evolving technology. The manual deduplication method is the one that makes us all want to shoot ourselves. It's basically where there are spreadsheets involved and you have to go and match up and see, okay, no, this sale is on both spreadsheets. We have to go back and cancel this. Nobody likes that. You don't know what you're earning as an affiliate if sales are clawed back after the fact, especially 30 days, 60 days, 90 days after the fact. Also, it takes up everybody's resources and it seems like not the best way to do it. And then there's also technical deduplication, which is proactively deduping. So if you go through, let's say, you go through a couple of different channels and one of them has the last referring click, then that may automatically mean that your cookie is not going to fire, that your tag is not going to fire. So that deduplication is happening. And of course, it does save resources as far as, clawbacks, et cetera, but what happens is nobody has any visibility. The advertiser may have some visibility, but the network doesn't have visibility, the affiliate doesn't have visibility. Even the affiliate manager at the advertiser may not have the visibility, depending on how it's set up. There's the last click, which of course has been a standard in our industry for a long time, and then attribution, which is something, and a word, a term that has been coming up more and more of late. It's basically a way of weighting your transactions or weighting your commissions or your credits so that multiple partners can get credit. Okay, so I want to ask you a question. I want you to look deep into your souls and really think about your answer. I want you to look around to your left and to your right and tell me who's asleep. Okay, well, if you're asleep, if you're not paying attention, if this is a little bit dry, yes, I understand that, but at the same time, this is affecting your overall commissions and your overall pay. So when you look at your pay, if it's going to be half of what you expected, would you sleep through that? You probably wouldn't. So let's make sure that we all are passionate about this, including me. There are third-party tagging providers out there. Some of the major ones are Atlas, DoubleClick, which is Dart for advertisers, Mediaplex. Tagman is another one that's come onto the scene of late, and of course multiple others. And there's been an evolution. The demand has been there because the advertisers are looking for it. So these companies are coming out because they are trying to solve a problem that maybe hasn't been raised that vocally within affiliate marketing, but nonetheless, it's there. Advertisers, at the end of the day, they desire greater integration and transparency. So the transparency isn't just an issue for affiliates or for our network, it's an issue for advertisers. If they don't know, if they have their affiliate marketing separate from the rest of their marketing, they can't really tie it in as well. So they've been shifting towards increased flexibility within the technology involved, within the crediting that's based on the technology, and that crediting sometimes within affiliate marketing specifically affects the commission that each channel would get. Interactive attribution is defined by Forrester as the practice of measuring the correct partial value of each interactive ad that drove a desired outcome. So in performance marketing, this translates to weighted commissions. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are on a cashback site and you tell your member, this is what you're going to get if you make a purchase through my site. The member goes through, they get the commission or the cashback incentive back, but it's maybe 50% of what they expected. Well, they're not going to be happy. They're going to be calling you. Your customer service is going to have to try to answer questions that they don't have the answers to. They're going to contact the network is going to contact the advertiser, and let's say the advertiser says, yes, well, we've implemented an attribution policy. That means that when this sequence of events happens, if somebody goes through a brand ad and then somebody goes through this channel, the cashback channel, then we're only giving you this amount. Well, that's great, but when did you tell us? This needs to be communicated. It needs to happen because it affects everyone from the top to the bottom. And it's going to affect the customers. There's no doubt about it. Affiliate marketing is very tied into customers. It's an on-the-ground type of marketing. So if you're going to change something that is going to affect your affiliate marketing, then it's going to also affect your customers. So you better make sure that you are communicating that. Some of the attribution vendors that have been making headlines of late are ClearSailing, Atlas, and Visual IQ. And according to the Forrester Wave report, they are leading the pack. They are all offering what I've been discussing in this presentation, where they're offering proactive deduplication as well as attribution models where advertisers can get flexibility and give prioritization to different models and not have such a linear type of model. So I spoke with Anto, and I'm not going to attempt his last name. You can read it. Is the president, founder, and CTO of Visual IQ. And they had a great way of, I think, breaking it down. Traffic can be broken down into introducers, influencers, and converters. So an introducer, hi, this is my friend Mike. An influencer, I think he likes you. And a converter, I think you should take him home. These all have very, very different values, as I'm sure you can understand. And you, as an affiliate, may have all three within your marketing sphere. And maybe you don't realize that you have all three. You don't have that visibility. Or maybe you have been developing the conversion side because that's where the bread and butter is. That's your meat and potatoes. That is what you have to do in order to get your salary at the end of the month. But if you know that 6 months down the line, one of your major advertisers is going to be changing their de-duping policy or their attribution policy, and the conversion is going to be, yes, of course, important, but also influencers and introducers are going to be given more priority, then you would be shifting your strategies along with that. So those are all conversations that we need to have. This is a sample attribution report. If you have bionic vision, you may be able to see it, but it has the conversions, the revenue, the attributed conversions, and assisted conversions. So there's the theory, and Yahoo also has embraced this, that there are assisted conversions. It's about a path. It's not about who the last person to that path is. Every piece plays its part, and it's a puzzle that comes together, and everyone is still trying to figure out. Nobody knows exactly what it is right now, and advertisers are trying to test, but they need your help because you have a story to tell. It may be that you have been, as I said before, focusing on the conversion area of your traffic or the conversion methods of your traffic, but you can do a lot more with the introducer and influencer. And if you're going to work with your advertiser in order to develop that, then you may get commissions based on the assist. So really, my main objective is that it's a shared responsibility. Your voice is very much needed. I don't think that any one network, Affiliate Future, any other network, merchant, affiliate, OPM, or anybody else should determine the outcome of this conversation. It's the kind of conversation that needs to happen out in the open, and it needs to involve lots of different parties because we each have something very important to say about how this happens. And it's going to shape the future of our industry. So it's even more important that we get your insight. So best practice, best practice was basically mentioned in my title, and it's something that I do want to also focus upon. We need an industry-wide best practice, and it needs to be a more meaningful conversation that we can all participate in with key organizations. So the IAB, the DMA, of course, the PMA, lots of other acronyms, affiliates, merchants. We all need to get involved, and that best practice, I don't think that it needs to be specific as far as limiting an advertiser in terms of what they can do with their marketing, especially if it's going to involve multi-channel marketing, because at the end of the day, we can't tell an advertiser that they can't go into one channel or can't do another channel and also have affiliate traffic involved with that. But what we can do is say, look, if this is what you're going to do, you need to communicate it to us. As far as our suggestions, what I would suggest to an advertiser, I would definitely suggest not overriding affiliate cookies or deduping against brand search. As I've said in my example, it's a great converter, but it's kind of the Olympic athlete that's on steroids that gets all the glory, and then you find out later that actually they weren't doing so great, and the results were a little bit tweaked. And post-impression, of course, anything that's post-impression needs to have an action to actually drive that traffic to the affiliate site. I also don't think that that all affiliates should be painted with one brush. So if you are going to be implementing something like this in your advertising, then you need to make sure that you're also getting past the affiliate IDs, because it may be that you look at your affiliate channel as a whole and say, okay, it's great at this, but I need this. So I'm going to, for this particular campaign, I'm going to give it less priority. Well, you're lumping together up to thousands and thousands of affiliates who have very different means of gaining their traffic and also converting for you. In order to really get the most out of it, you need to go a little bit more granular. Advertisers and agencies should also plan ways to meet objectives with their stakeholders. The stakeholders can bring up points or really creative solutions for problems that you have, or not even problems, but objectives that you want to reach. But you need to actually speak to them in order to find that out. And I keep coming back to this. I think the conversation needs to happen with the stakeholders. You need to inform them of what's going on, what you're thinking about. If you as an advertiser have been having internal discussions for 6 months, whatever it may be, about implementing something, and then you just do it, well, that's 6 months where you could have had insight from an affiliate channel or your network about how to do it, so that you're going to keep those relationships positive with the affiliates that have been generating traffic and conversions for you for so long. So moving forward, the initiative I've called De-Dupe Right. You can call it whatever you want. But basically, it's a collaboration to establish best practice within the industry. And I think that it should cover really the communication of major changes that are going to affect the bottom line for many, many stakeholders. Also, the common pitfalls to avoid. Chances are, as an advertiser, you're not the first one to try something. If you actually give that feedback to your stakeholders, then they can potentially also give you areas to look at where it didn't work so well for somebody else, and conversely, other areas or case studies where a model has worked really well. The capabilities of technical providers. This, I think, is going to influence basically the conversation and what happens in the industry definitely within the next 12 months. There are vendors out there that are developing new technologies that are going to impact our industry greatly. and you should really be aware of that. And then, of course, the education side, white papers, case studies, basically, as I said, a dialogue where we're all educating each other, because I don't think that any one group has the full picture. So as far as the future, this is not an apocalyptic prediction. It's not something to, say, okay, that's it, I'm done with affiliate marketing. It's easy to panic, I think, because of the nature of our model. People have a vested interest in every change that makes a difference to the income that they take home every day. However, we can make sure that we have a say in the outcome. We can make sure that the innovation that has always been there in affiliate marketing is really used to the best effect. And also find and adapt ways to move forward like we always do. There have always been obstacles within affiliate marketing, but I think affiliate marketers in particular are extremely diverse and able to move forward and find ways to make things work. So as advertisers gain visibility, we need to also work and learn from the lessons that they've learned. So they might see, okay, great, your review site actually does a great job for doing the introduction and the influencing. We're going to work with you on that. We're going to create specific campaigns to work with our review affiliates or our content sites in particular, to make sure that the message that we want to get across when people are doing the initial phases of their research for a vacation, let's say, are going to be conducive to a conversion down the line. Because we know, okay, conversion information is important, but maybe in the research stage, it's more important to get across other messages. So the key is to stay informed, use the insight that we gain from each other, and reserve a seat at the table to ensure that your insight and your viewpoint is going to factor in to the outcome here. Other variables may also be added to the mix. So, for example, offline, it could be that TV is also brought in, as well as print. And there are technologies that are being developed right now to do that and to do so. And it's kind of hard to imagine how it will all fit in together, but those technologies are being developed for a reason. The demand is there. So within the next couple of years, we may see the market being influenced by this, and our affiliate programs, including some of our best advertisers, being affected. Also, environmental factors can be put into the mix, like weather. So advertisers, for example, may have an attribution model that when it's raining, they might have a different attribution model than when it's not raining. So these are just some of the options that within my research I found are upcoming. So it's exciting in a way, because this is an area that maybe we didn't realize could even be possible, but it is coming. So we need to use this to our advantage to propel affiliate marketing forward and take action now. So you can claim your seat at the table, you can join the debate, you can follow Twitter, hashtag De-Duping, get your thoughts on there, a LinkedIn group, De-Duping as well. And the Performance Marketing Association, I think, is a great asset that we all really need to use, as well as other organizations, but they just happen to be here and they're having a meeting tomorrow. So I highly suggest that you join the PMA and get involved. They've got a catchy email address, which I have up here, membership@performancemarketingassociation.com, but if you need a contact, just let me know. I can direct you to them. So I wanted to leave some time, ample time for questions, because I think this is the type of topic that is going to raise more questions than answers right now. Also, thank you so much for listening. I do realize I'm ending a little bit early, but I appreciate you coming to the talk, and I would like to know more about what you think. First of all, how has this affected you? Have you had this affect you in the past? Have you had experiences that you want to share with deduplication? How do you envision this affecting you? And items that should be also added to the best practice agenda or discussion. So does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Is the problem getting better or
worse? You know what? I don't think it's either. No, I don't think it's either. I think that really, at this point, only about 15% of agencies are estimated to be using attribution models, and about 13% of merchants. And that's according to Forrester research. But you know, again, there's the manual deduplication, which I also talked about, which is after the fact. So I don't think that necessarily factors that in. I think, of course, if the networks are doing their jobs right and the affiliate managers, then they're communicating that this is not necessarily a great way to run an affiliate program, whether it's clawing back, because obviously the affiliate doesn't have that visibility, especially if you're doing it way down the line. And I think the technology that is coming is going to be very good for our industry. I think it's just going to take a lot of adaptation even, in order to really get the best of this. But what I think will come out of it is the true value of the affiliate marketing channel, because it's been so weighted on conversion. And I think anybody who is actually in affiliate marketing knows that we do a lot of introducing. We do a whole lot of introducing, and we do a lot of influencing too, which we're not getting credit for. And yes, we may have some traffic for the conversion side of things, but I think if anything, it's going to diversify the affiliates that are getting commissions from this. So in particular, I'm speaking about attribution, where you're able to kind of weight, commissions. The prioritization, the difference is the deduplication as far as prioritizing would generally just give credit to one channel or one affiliate per se, whereas attribution is more likely to get, weight it and give it to different affiliates. So I think it is going to make our industry stronger, but that's not to say there won't be teething issues initially. Yes?
What percentage of advertisers do you think do some sort of attribution clawback, and then, or networks enabling, for example?
Mm-hmm.
My other one is, let's assume we had perfect information.
Okay.
In a world where we had perfect information, how would you see the attribution happen? In other words, whether the travel is going to be data,
Mm-hmm.
or the early research versus later, however it is does that develop into a place where from conversion attribution you go to partial attribution?
Yes, exactly.
So you go back and say, well, the early research phase, in the travel space, early research is 30% responsible, middle research is 50, and closing the deal is their whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the assertion.
Exactly. Yep, you got it exactly right.
Okay, so then back to the first question.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of people do you think currently or advertisers do you think currently for attribution reasons?
I think a lot. For some, it may be a small percentage of their sales that they actually claw back. But most advertisers will at some point come back and say, oh, wait a minute, that was another channel. I think, especially it's funny because cashback affiliates, I think, have some of the greatest visibility of affiliate programs out there, because they have that transaction and that reference, they put the claim in, and then they get the reason back. And without that initial claim, the network and the affiliate may not necessarily have had that information. So then the advertiser may go, oh yes, well this was attributed to our internal newsletter or to our email or to another partner. Well, why did that happen, in the first place? The attribution percentages that you just mentioned there, you said, I don't know. Neither do advertisers. They don't know. And this is the problem. This is kind of where they get stuck. Is great. Now I have the technology in order to maybe have an attribution model where I can weight the credit and the commissions and give it to more than one partner. But how do I actually now prioritize who gets more. You know, is, like you said, do the influencers get more, or do the introducers? Is it the converter really? And there's going to be a lot of trial and error here. So I think is that as long as that trial and error isn't going to kill an affiliate program and cut off the hand that feeds them, then that's something that is going to be, I think, probably the most important factor here, is that nobody knows the perfect model. Yes?
Do you think there's an element of sort of people waiting for a bigger company to kind of change it around a little bit? Because if everyone else in the same sort of industry is sort of going for the last click, pays out,
Yes.
you suddenly strike out a different way, people decimate it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, advertisers are definitely nervous. You know, you don't necessarily want to be the first mover. First movers, as we know, they take the greatest risk. So nobody wants to be the first to say that and then have to deal with potential fallout from not only affiliates but other partners. But this is why I'm really focusing on transparency and communication, because I would not want a situation where all of these advertisers are just going for it and not communicating it to anybody, and then it just happens and you see your numbers fall drastically and you go, wait a minute, what happened? I'm doing all the same things that I normally do, and you spend hours, you know, looking into your optimization. How can I tweak this? You know, looking for answers. And I think that's also why affiliate communities are so important, because you can talk to other affiliates and say, have you noticed this? Have you seen this? Wait, yes, I have too. And then everybody kind of all of a sudden pipes in, and a problem is raised or an issue is raised. And you know, that's sometimes when things happen and people actually take action. I want things to happen before that point. And you know, networks, we're definitely not privy to all of the information either. You know, of course, we're there, we're in between the affiliates and the merchants, and I think our job, an important part of our job is education. You know, educating the merchants as to this may be the impact of something if you roll it out. So also, you know, information as far as providing the information to the affiliates. So I think, yeah, there's definitely a fear of being the first, but maybe more a fear of being the first to publicly do it. Yes.
I'm from the Netherlands in Europe, so
welcome.
It's a bit different. We started doing conversion attribution because we had to. In, for example, car insurance sales, we can pinpoint only like 50% of all sales to the last click.
Right.
So
you can pinpoint 50%?
Yeah, only 50%. Like
right.
income probably is like 80. So
right.
if you spend more money, you have more direct sales. But also is I think a tool to give credit to affiliates for example, telesales. We are now able to pinpoint telesales to a license plate which is fixed to a car now.
Wow.
And you can track that back to the first, second, third affiliate contributing to the sale, and also giving them part of the credit for that. And maybe if you would be able to recognize users better than just on a cookie, to mention on that.
That's the offline future that I was talking about. Apparently the future's in the Netherlands.
If you look at that, then I think the most affiliates will be better off even if we do dedupe with, for example, Google brand terms. If they get like $100 for a sale, then they only get 95 if they're not the last, but the one before the
right.
brand search. And we deduct the $5 brand sale
yes.
cost of this commission. And if you look at that picture, then most affiliates get more commission than they did before just having a last click moment.
I can completely agree that you're going to have more affiliates that are earning commissions, so that's always a good thing. You're going to have more people motivated to work with you, and like you said, you use the brand search de-duping, but that's more attribution that you're doing. I mean, it's kind of murky as far as de-duping and attribution, but the attribution where you're paying more than one partner, if you're, you know, still contributing or crediting commission to that second to last click or whatever it may be along the path, then in my eyes, I think that's much better, because you are recognizing that there's no kind of linear model, and that generally it's not, one click in order to get a conversion. Forrester said that there was about, I think on average, 4.3 maybe clicks in order to get to a conversion. So, each of those has a very important part. It plays a very important part. The offline, the integration of the license plate, I'm pretty impressed by that. How does that work for you? I mean, when you implemented that, did you see a big increase in the business that you were?
We're just measuring now.
Right.
Looking at how are we going to give them a commission based on that new data.
Right.
It's new for us as well. It has only been running for 3 months now, so
Right.
we're still collecting because the buying cycle in car insurance, I think it's much longer.
Yes.
You tend to think it's maybe 4 clicks, but that's based on cookie lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to look at beyond the cookie, then it's way longer. And we're not thinking about producers or influencers or conversions, but really more into what happened after the click. So is the bounce, then it's less valuable than someone who really crawled the entire site
Mm-hmm.
at all the conditions, etc. And then we credit them more. That's what we like to do. So time on site, page views, quotations, that kind of stuff.
And are you using for the attribution, are you using internal technology or are you using a third party? Internal. Okay. That's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. But I think that's the advantage
Mm-hmm.
is the license plate. You can have it like, if you want to quote,
Mm-hmm.
type in plate, and then you can track that back, of course.
Right. Okay. Well, we've got a real world example of what I was just talking about, so I appreciate you sharing with us. Does anybody else have any feedback or questions that they'd like to ask? No? Okay. Well, thanks again. I'll be here at the conference until Tuesday, so if you have any questions, please do feel free to come up to me or grab a card. I'll give you my details, and we could always chat afterwards. Thanks again.